Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas here. Another review. Dude, I'm starting this and I still don't know what I really thought about the show. I don't know how I'm going to rate this show. I've never really seen anything like that. And as I'm starting this review, I am still debating on what score I'm going to give it. So I'm just going to flush it out with you guys in my head, and I'm just going to give something at the end. Got to see Duran Duran last night. Duran Duran, I'm 46. Duran Duran, anybody my age knows how important they were, how big they were, how perfect they were back in the 80s and even into the early 90s with that little second wave they had with the Come Undones and Ordinary World. I love them. But I feel like there were so many hits on the radio that I never really bothered to learn their deep cuts. I don't know why. I was young. I didn't care. I cared about the radio songs, not necessarily the deep cuts. But nonetheless, they played the Encore Theater at the Wynn, which, if you listen to my reviews, it's my favorite place to play. Duran Duran is an arena band, easy, possibly a stadium band in some cities. They play 15 to probably 50,000 people. I don't know how. I don't understand the math of it, but they are played a few nights at this little tiny theater that plays about 1,500 people. They came a month ago in September. They played 2 nights. I wanted to go so bad. The tickets were, God, 600-700 starting. Not that they're not worth it. It's just I go to a lot of shows. I spend money on tickets. So to spend that much on one night, I had a hard time, even though it just sounds incredible to see them in such a small venue. A treat to see them in such a small venue. So I didn't go to those 2 shows. I knew they had 2 more in October. So they played last night. The tickets were a lot cheaper. I did not go. I'm sorry, 2 nights ago, I did not go. And then finally last night, I saw some really cheap last-minute tickets. I grabbed them. Now, 2 things, and I've said this in 2 other reviews. I had a problem back in the day. I went to Weird Al Yankovic, another 80s guy who I waited my whole life to see. And his tour was not the hits. That was the thing of his tour, but he didn't say that anywhere on like Ticketmaster or Access. I just bought tickets thinking I'm seeing Weird Al Yankovic. But apparently deep in his social media, everybody knew, the diehard fans knew that this was not the hits. I had a big problem with that. I got a lot of pushback from his fans. I have a problem with bands not playing their hits. I just do. I went to Chili Peppers a couple months ago. I mean, they didn't fucking play Under the Bridge. What the fuck is that? I'm not going to get into those concerts, but I randomly bumped into a couple friends who are diehard Duran Duran people. They traveled to go to their shows. I saw them before, and she's like, hey, by the way, just a heads up, I don't think they're playing their normal set list, because their normal set list is fucking insane. I mean, every single song is like a massive hit. I was so excited going to this show to see them in such a small venue. I was so excited, as were everybody. So when she told me, look, it's a special Halloween show, this is a one-off show, I'm just giving you a heads up, they're not going to be playing most of their hits. My kind of heart sunk to my stomach. I didn't know what to make of it. I walked in, they had this really awesome set. It was skeletons and it was spider webs, and I said, well, maybe they'll do something special. I don't know. I didn't know what to feel. I honestly didn't know what to expect, so I just kept my mind open and my review open, and let's see what happens. Let's go on this ride. So they came out in full costume, which I thought was awesome. I did. I thought it was really cool. They looked cool. It was fun to see them. I could tell very quickly that crowd was maybe 60% diehard. 60% of people that travel, people that came to this show knowing how often do you get to see Duran Duran in such a small venue. So I could tell just by the fan reaction out of the gate. So I'm going to go through this fucking set list. I don't know what to make of it. God, let me just get into it. Night Boat. Then they got into Hungry Like the Wolf. So I said, okay, maybe we'll get some hits in here, possibly. Invisible. And then he did Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. I didn't think it was a good version. I love Simon. I love his voice. I just didn't think it was a good version. Plus, he had this little podium up there with a book in it with the lyrics, and he was reading half the lyrics, which takes away from the performance of a song. I did not think it was. I've heard a lot of versions of Painted Black. I love that song. I don't think it was a good version. Then he did Union of the Snake. Okay, maybe there are some hits sprinkled in here. And then I started to realize, well, you have a snake, you have Hungry Like the Wolf. Maybe he's only playing the songs that like kind of have a little spookiness to them in their set list. And that's what ended up happening. Then they got into like a lot of deep cuts. That's what the rest of the show was. Love Voodoo. Then he did Ghost Towns, a specials cover. Secret October. Lonely in Your Nightmare. Then he did a cover of Super Freak by Rick James, which was good. It was fine. But I'm not here to see covers. I'm sorry. Supernature by Cerrone. Planet Earth. That was probably their only straight hit that they played that wasn't like spooky or tied to something. Shadows on Your Side, Friends of Mine, Careless Memories, Spellbound, a Susie and the Banshees cover. And then they went to the encore, and I almost started crying. I'm like, dude, are we at the encore already? They haven't played anything. Maybe the encore. I've seen that before. I've seen bands come out on the encore and do 6 hits or 5 hits in the encore. So maybe that's what's going to happen. And he came out, he played View to a Kill. Great. Then I'm like, wait, that's kind of themed also. Kill. I love View to a Kill. One of my favorite songs by them. So I was happy to hear that. And then Psycho Killer, which Talking Heads cover. And then they closed with Wild Boys. Again, love Wild Boys. So here's what happened. I was so kind of worked up that when they did play the hits, it bothered me. Because it was so good. It was so good when they played the hits that you're like, this is what the whole fucking show should be. This should be at this level, the whole show for all your hits. I'm here to see Duran Duran. You can do a Halloween show in costume and play your regular songs. People will be really happy with that. I promise you. And I looked around a lot during the show, and it really was a tale of two things. And the 60% of people who were there were diehard fans. There was a guy next to us. I did not see this smile leave his face the entire show. He was in heaven. These people that have seen him 10, 20, 30 times, this was a gift from God. This was deep cuts. This was something that they knew was special, different than the 30 other shows they've been to. They were in heaven. And you know what? It was. It was cool. It was a good show. He's great. They're great. They're fucking Duran Duran. He sounds great. He looked funny. He looked cool. He was in a werewolf outfit for most of it, and then not a werewolf like with a suit on. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is. And then came out at the end in like a wedding dress, which was really cool. So I have some pictures and videos. I'll put that up. But I mean, I can't get over the fact of how do you go see Duran Duran and not even hear like Rio or Save a Prayer or Reflex? I mean, dude, I don't know how to rate this. On its own, as like someone said, hey, Duran Duran is playing a Halloween show. Do you want to go? I don't think they're doing a lot of hits, but they'll do some hits for sure, and they'll do some other stuff, and it'll be unique and interesting. Fuck yeah, great. Then I'm walking into it, I know, but I think the problem was I was so excited. I was so excited to see my songs and Duran Duran in this little room that I don't know if I'm ever going to get another opportunity to do it. I looked at set lists from the other 3 shows from the encore, and they were awesome. There were a lot of people around us that were upset. You can see it. You can look to their right, and there was a couple sitting down with their arms folded, fucking pissed. In between every song, you heard people screaming out, Rio, or you know, New Moon on Monday, or any of the big hits. They were just screaming them out. I don't blame them. I would. I don't still have the balls to do it, but I would. I should have. I think they did that show wrong. I think they could have found more of a middle balance, but I don't think they give a shit. And I talked to my friends who were diehards after, and they said that was 10 out of 10. That was the greatest Duran Duran show they've ever seen. I get it from their standpoint. But you can't forget about all the people who spent a lot of money or traveled to Vegas to go see their band Duran Duran on Halloween. You cannot ignore that. It's not fair to ignore those fans. The diehards keep them in business, but it's those other fans that help them sell out stadiums. That's for sure. So I get mad at bands when they do that. So I'm struggling with this. I wish they would have done, 2/3 of a set of whatever they wanted to do, and then come back on the encore and just do 6 or 7. Like their hits, the Save a Prayers, the all that stuff. I don't know what to score. I don't know what to score. If I was a diehard, I can see that being a 9.5 out of 10, just heaven. But I'm not a diehard, and I got to keep true to these reviews. I would give it a 6.6 out of 10. They played enough hits, and those hits were so good. They were so good. Those 4, Wild Boys, View to a Kill, Planet Earth, Union of the Snake, and Hungry Like the Wolf. Those kept this in the mid-6s. I'll give them that. But if they would have done one less, it would have dropped to like a 6. If they would have done one less than that, it would have been a 5.8. So, like I said, the problem I had was when they played their hits, I got mad because the show got, for me, perfect. And I would have loved to see 15 hits. I'm happy with their new ones. Duran Duran is such a hit machine. It's so fucking odd to see them and sit here doing a review about them not playing their hits. They are hits. That's what they are. They are Duran Duran. That's who you are. I can't get mad at them because it was Halloween. They didn't do it to fuck anybody over. They did it to give their diehards something special, and I commend them from that. And I think it's awesome that they love their diehards that much to do it, and they probably did it for themselves also. They probably enjoy playing those deeper cuts. There were certain songs that came on. I couldn't tell you which ones, but the people next to us jumped out of their seats. Oh, my God, I've never seen them play this live. That's great. That's great for them. Because 2 seats over her were a couple sitting down miserable. Turn around. There's other people down on their seats half the show with a look in their eyes like, I cannot believe I paid this much money. It wasn't a cheap show. I got cheap tickets, but it wasn't a cheap show. So that's my review. I think I said 6.6, but honestly, it was probably less. It probably was less. I'm giving them a little bounce because I love them, and those hits alone were fantastic. So that's a review. It was an interesting show. I will remember this the rest of my life. There's no doubt about it. I hope they come back to the encore, and I will see them again anytime because they're Duran Duran, and so should you. Thanks for listening. I'm sure the diehards will beat me up. I try to be nice. I was nice. So leave your comments and subscribe and tell me what you thought of the show. Honestly, I'm sure I'll see a mix of both comments, just like I saw on the show. People will be upset and people will be in heaven. So very interesting show. Happy motherfucking Halloween. Subscribe, and I'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye.